To Lou Calderelli, who was a dear friend of Red Mitchell, and shared some time with him in the Army. Lou, why don't you tell me when you first met Red?
All right, I'll give you a premise before, because I was there before Red arrived.
Uh-huh.
So,
okay.
This band was organized in 1944 by General Bowling, who was head of the Special Services in the ETO. And this was the offshoot of continuing the band of Glenn Miller, when Glenn Miller was there entertaining the troops and also going to different countries to entertain. And of course, we know that he got killed, or not killed, but he lost his life.
Right.
He was going to Paris to set up a week for the band. They were invited by the French government to perform there, and of course he was lost over the channel, and the thing never took place. So in consequence of that, General Bowling wanted to continue something like that, so he started the 314th Special Service Band, the ETO.
Why did they call it the 314th?
I have no idea where they even got the number 314th.
Yeah.
I've never asked, and it's a good question.
And that was always then the band's name.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, it started then, and then I arrived in June of 1946.
Mm-hmm.
And this band was the #1 band. All musicians that came in the service that were shipped overseas as musicians came to the 314th band first. Any that we wanted to keep, or that, Lynn Harrison, who was our director, wanted to keep, they were auditioned for certain sections, like sax section or whatever. I was string section. I was playing violin then.
Mm-hmm.
And so I auditioned, and they needed violinists, so I was immediately, said I would stay with the band. All others, though, that were not, were sent then immediately to different bands in the ETO, to perform with other bands.
Mm-hmm.
So we were the hub, and we were stationed in Bad Schwabach, Germany, that at a hotel that was our headquarters. And meeting Red, I don't know the exact month, if it was August or September 46. I joined the band in June of 46, and I believe Red came August or September of 46.
Mm-hmm.
Now, prior to Red coming, this band was a complete orchestra. I mean, it had the string section,
mm-hmm.
Just like Glenn Miller had. And we indeed then were invited by the French government to perform. And so we went, the band. Red wasn't with the band at that time. And we went to Paris for a week and did the entertaining, and they entertained us. After Red joined us, we were still an orchestra, and I was still in the string section as a violinist, and Red came in as the pianist.
Who did he replace?
I don't know the pianist's name. Well, let's see if I can see somebody here. I don't know if it was rhythm here. I don't know if it was Bob Jacobs or Phil Springer.
Uh-huh. Phil Springer was the guy that wrote
the composer and
Santa Baby.
Right. He was a composer and arranger.
Right.
And a pianist. So I don't know if it was either Jacobs or Springer the Red replaced.
Uh-huh.
And then in December of 1946, and this is our orders that they cut for the band, and we were going on a tour, and we started in Berlin, Germany, December of 46, and we appeared at the Berlin Opera on Christmas Eve,
Mm.
And at that time, the general was asking big performers if they would come and do a performance with the band. And that particular evening was Marjorie Lawrence from the Metropolitan Opera.
Mm-hmm.
And Marjorie Lawrence was paralyzed from the waist down. Her husband was a doctor and traveled with her everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So she was our guest artist the evening of Christmas Eve at the Berlin Opera, and it was something I will never ever forget.
Mm.
You know, her husband wheeled her out in the wheelchair, and what she sang was, I get goosebumps when
Yeah, I
I
do
think about it.
too, just hearing about it.
She sang Ave Maria, and oh man, it was just incredible. So on this particular set, orders that were cut from there, we went to Bremen, Germany, at the base, and Bremerhaven, and then we were going to Amsterdam, Holland, to do the 4-country ball.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think, would be the United States, England, Russia, and who was the other?
France.
Oh, France,
Mm-hmm.
that's right. And this was an incredible thing.
Yeah, Red used to talk about that.
Yeah. This was something that only happens once in a lifetime, and all the big generals, and it was just unbelievable. And our orchestra performed. We were still an orchestra then with the whole thing, the section, string section, and then we made some other stops, and then went back to home base. Now, all the time we did this, we left every week. We rehearsed at the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would take off on the weekend, or prior to the weekend. We had our own train, and of course, I told you, we had our own broadcaster, because we put on a 3-hour show, and half of that, a half hour of the 3 hours was a broadcast on the AFN network.
Right.
We always did.
And you went into Wiesbaden to do that?
Yes,
Right.
we did.
Right.
We did. Or when we were on the road,
Yeah.
all our engineers came with us, so we broadcast from wherever we were at. But the majority of them were in Wiesbaden. That's right.
Right.
But
And the name of the show was?
It's All Yours, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The 314 Special Service Band of the ETO.
Mm-hmm.
It's All Yours was the name of the show.
And where did that broadcast out to?
All over the European, the American Forces Network, which covered everything over there, all the bases, everything.
And was that in connection also with Voice of America?
I have no idea.
Because I know that was during that time that Red met, what was the name of the guy who ran the Voice of America? He was quite famous.
I don't know if that, that was in conjunction with it.
Mm-hmm.
But, all I know is that's what we did. Every week we did that half-hour broadcast.
Yeah.
No matter where we were.
Right.
Most of the time, was at home.
Right.
But we did travel a lot to different bases.
Mm-hmm.
to
And you
entertain.
think all of those recordings have been preserved?
Yes, they have. In fact, I can't find one. I have the original that I procured, and our guest star was Paulette Goddard.
Oh, wow.
And I have to find it because it's the original, huge, and I want to cut it down and see if I can get it done into CDs.
So were these put into the Library of Congress or something?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have but every show was recorded.
Sure.
Because we had our own engineers, everything that traveled with us.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said here, on this list here, we have it says here we go. Johnny Schramm was the writer and producer of the show. Johnny Sachs was the announcer. These were all civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Chan was the producer.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had someone else here. They had Captain Leland and Captain Chambers. And then Bob Underwood was a copyist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And incidentally, our librarian was a fellow named Tony Benedetto.
Right.
Yeah, he was our library person, and of course, you know who he became, because
Yeah.
while he was doing that, I remember he asked, our leader's name was Lynn Harrison. He was a warrant officer,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife was there with him all the time, and I kind of became a son of theirs. I was very close to the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I called them Pops.
Uh-huh.
And so he went to Pops one day and asked him if he could sing with the band. And Pop says, yeah, sure, if you'd like to, you know. And so he started singing with the band. Of course, we had civilian singers with us.
Right.
Janie Thompson was
Right.
one who
Right.
became very big. And we had Bob Lawrence, who was a singer, and Betty Brush and Judy Brines.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they were all civilians, and then they left. Janie Thompson stayed till the end, almost to the end.
And she was there at the reunion.
Right, she was
That
there
was
at the,
great.
yeah, she
Right,
was
in
there.
1986, you
Right.
had a
And
40-year reunion of this
The
band.
sad part of this is that Tony Bennett was one of the instigators of getting this reunion together,
Right.
and then couldn't make it at the reunion. You know, that was kind of sad.
He was doing a commercial with Ray Charles, I think, in the South.
Is that what he
somewhere.
was doing?
I
Yeah.
think so.
It was
but
kind
he does write about this
Yeah.
time in his own autobiography.
Yeah. He left
with the band.
He left the band about 2 weeks after I got there. So,
I see. So you did get to meet him then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
but he left immediately, because they were then sending people home that had been there, and new ones coming in.
Yeah, I was very happy when I read his autobiography, and he wrote about the
the three-
band.
yes,
and
he did.
said
I have the book,
Some
yeah.
of the musicians went on to become great
George
musicians,
Masso.
including the great Red Mitchell.
Yeah, and George Masso, the trombone player, became very big, yeah.
Right.
So then Lynn Harrison had this band for, God, I don't know when he went home. It was in 1947 when he left. And then on the band, the lead trumpet player was a fella that played with the, I can't think of the big band in New York City. Yeah. Oh, man. But anyhow, his name was Vince Anderberg.
Uh-huh.
And when Pops went home, then Vince took over the band.
Uh-huh.
Then the band became a band without the string section. I became the bass player, because I had asked Pop along when I first got there. I says, you know, I'm in a string section, but when the bass player goes, I would like to audition for the, you know, for the position. He says, yeah, no problem. So then I became the bass player. But the band then was just like a swing band in the, you know, 40s. And Red was playing piano, and we became very close. There was about 6 or 7 of us that really became close. Red and I, and Pete Donatello, and
who was the drummer?
Valentino.
A lot of Italians.
Oh, unbelievable how many Italian musicians
Yeah.
on that band.
Yeah. Well, he found out, what he told me was that if he signed up, they had a program after the war was over where if you signed up, you could join it. If you volunteered, you only had to stay in 18 months, and instead of the 2 or 4 years of draft. So that's why he volunteered.
I'm glad you brought that up. When I got discharged and went home, I got a call from Pops.
Uh-huh.
And he says, Lou, would you like to come back and be in my band?
Uh-huh.
And he says, I'm at West Point. I'm the director at West Point. And I says, oh my God, you know. But
that's an honor.
it is. But you know, when you get out of the service, because when you're in the service, your life is, you know, they tell you what to do every minute of the day.
Right.
So, you know, and I'm home now and I'm free and doing my thing and going back to school. And, you know, I told him, Pops, boy, I'd love to, you know, but I just don't want to go back in the service again. So I'm sure that was something that Red he was talking about, going back in, or? that you just said?
No, he went in for the 18 months because
Oh.
he knew he could get out after 18
Oh, yeah,
months.
oh, sure.
He didn't want to stay 4 years.
Oh, no, no, that's right.
Yeah.
Same thing
Right.
with me. Yeah, no, we
Right.
came out.
Yeah, he
But I
left-
thought, I was just wondering maybe if he
Yeah.
had called.
He was in
Red.
college, you know. He had gotten an engineering scholarship to
Right,
Cornell.
oh yeah, he told me his life. He
And
he
so,
had his engineering
you know,
degree, and
He
bought
had
his
a
dad and the
scholarship,
home
and then he
with the,
dropped out. And,
with the organ in the house, pipes all through the walls, and he told me about all his life at home, and
yeah.
you know. But yeah, we had a bunch of, Bill Roddickman's a great sax player, he was one of them. In fact, here were some of them right here, this picture. This is in '48 when we were in Berlin to do the Christmas show. Red got sick that night when we went out to celebrate at this Club 48. See in the front? The Club
Yeah.
48 was a club where it was for U.S. GIs and that. And it was a, you know, club. They had entertainment there, and he could go. And he
cool.
got, yeah, he got sick that night and couldn't come out with us. So, but that was some of the guys that you
Well,
know
what
were
were
close.
some of the things you did with Red?
What do you mean did?
Well,
we
we
lived
were friends.
together all the time. We did everything
Were you
together.
Like,
roommates, or did you all have your own rooms?
No, we shared.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we shared.
Mm-hmm.
He and I shared a room too, and then Bill and I shared a room.
Mm-hmm.
But from Bad Schwabach, we went down to Garmisch-Partenkirchen.
Where's that?
What's the band? Well, that's where Hitler had his summer retreat
Oh.
in the Zugspitze Mountains in southern Germany.
Uh-huh.
And then we started headquartering down there with this band, and just traveling around, and
Right.
and of course we still had the engineers going with us, and it was General Bowling's band all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At what point did Red show an interest in learning to play bass?
We were. It's strange. We were. Where were we? We were at a place where we were going to put on a show, and we were all mingling. You know, we get there an hour and a half before, and you know everybody warms up and all that. And we're standing around. I'm standing around Red, and we started jamming.
Mm-hmm.
And then Red says, Lou, he says, I'd like to learn how to play the bass. I says, really, Red, why? You know, I said, you play just great piano. He said, I don't know, I just took an interest and a love for it. I just love the way it looks and the sound it gets, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, would you give me some lessons? I said, I'd be happy to, you know, what I can do for you, you know, fingering and the whole, sure.
So you were his first teacher.
I was his first teacher. Yeah, I showed him all the fingering, you know,
Yeah.
the whole thing, and that's how he got started. Yeah, he really, but he loved it. He just loved the sound of it, you know. No,
Well,
can't love the sound of a bass.
Well, the first time I met Red's father was in Los Angeles, and they had a home there with a separate studio where he brought his organ, a 5,000-piece organ that he rebuilt in Los Angeles after having moved out from New Jersey. And we walked in the studio, and the first thing Red said was, play the low C for Diane. You know, ever since he was a little child, he'd heard that low notes on the organ, and I think, you know, that must have followed him.
Yeah. What I said, he
what
loved the
was
sound
it
of
that he went on the beach?
Oh, that was when he changed the tuning of the bass, later, much later.
That Diane told us that. Yeah,
Yeah.
he went to fourths instead of fifths.
No, fifths
Oh,
instead of fourths.
yeah, fifths instead of
Right,
fourths,
right.
what am I
But that
talking
wasn't until much later,
Yeah,
1966.
so he had to relearn
Yeah.
playing in fifths. Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, we just, you know, we traveled all over. Well, you know, in Bad Schwalbach, we got in a couple of bad things, you know. I mean, not only me, Red, you know, all of us, because in Bad Schwalbach, the people there didn't like us. Not the Germans, the American Army,
Oh, yeah.
it was a regular station. They had a carpool there,
Officers.
everything. Yeah, they had. It was a town that was taken over by the Army,
Right.
and we never fell out for reveille in the morning nor retreat at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so the GIs, other GIs that were there didn't particularly like us because we were given special treatment. And in fact, the officers didn't like it either. The commander of the village didn't like it either. And we would go out of the hotel in, how should I say, out of uniform. Like, I had an English Eisenhower jacket, and I would wear a white scarf with it instead of a tie, you know. And I had I don't know if you remember Terry and the Pirates. It was a comic strip in the old days. He was a pilot, and he had the pilot's hat on, you know, crunched over, and I bought one. And I walked out with that on, and Red was not in uniform either. I had loafers on, he had loafers on, we had white socks on, and he didn't have a tie on, and we were caught. And we reported to the commander of the town there, and he was a colonel, and we had to go in there. And of course, we're making up excuses, right? And I told him, I says, sir, I says, all my clothes were stolen. That's all I have left. You know, I mean, I hid all the boots and everything up in the room. And, oh, yeah. And, of course, we told the old man about it, Pops. And, you know, we said, I told him, I said, everything was stolen. Fred said, yeah, Pops. He said, I don't have. So he went down, and he told us, this colonel, he says, sir, he says, if you like, I will call General Bowling, and he can explain to you about this. So I guess he got a little nervous, you know, and says, well, no, that would be okay. He says, I'm going to let him go now this time, but don't do it again, you know, or don't get caught again.
Right.
And we did, you know, crazy things like drinking in the hotel and bringing women in.
Right.
And then one night they pulled a raid on us, but little did they know that we had an insider in the main office who liked our band and tipped us off. So of course we knew the time they were going to raid the hotel and the whole works. So everybody, we were all in bed at that time. It's quiet in the hotel, and they come charging in, and oh, were they upset or what? You know,
sounds like great times.
Oh.
But it makes me think about one person that Red used to talk about, and that was Doc Mansell.
Oh.
And he was a drinker, I guess.
We were all drinkers. Oh, Doc, but Doc was heavy.
He was a heavy
You know,
drinker.
this man.
Okay, he was a trombone player in the
But
band.
he was an incredible musician.
Yes.
Doc used to play the French horn with a trombone mouthpiece and just hold it with his hand on the French horn and play the French horn.
Oh, wow.
He was such an accomplished trombonist.
Yeah.
Oh, and Doc.
Right.
But we were all kind of crazy because we had, first of all, we had unlimited booze. You know, it was rationed over there.
Wow.
And they only got so much a month. You know, each GI got so much a month.
Right.
But ours was unlimited because the general just gave us unlimited booze.
Including cigarettes, too.
Cigarettes, everything.
Oh,
Right, and so...
And when we were on the road traveling, we billeted it at the officers' quarters. Never with the non-coms. Because I was a T4 sergeant, and Red at the time was a PFC. But we always billeted it at the officers' quarters, and we had special uniforms. We had the opposite of an officer's colors. You know, they had the tan. Let's see, no, they had the green pants, the tan jacket. No, wait, how was it? They had the green jacket and the tan pants. He reversed it, gave us the tan Eisenhower jackets with the green pants, and then we had our own special patch made that he had that said, it's all yours, you know, special service band, it's all yours. And we walked down into the bar, and all these officers, well, one night we got in a confrontation with an officer, and he asked us what we were doing there, and we told him that we were with the band and that we were billeted there, and he told us that, no, he says, I don't believe you, get out of here. And we says, no, we're not getting out. And so they called the MPs, and then come to find out that this officer was put down right away, you know.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, they just would look at us, you know, what are these non-coms doing in an officer's bar?
Well, when we talk about the cigarettes, why don't you just inform me here the real story of how it happened that Red spent, what was it, 12 cartons of cigarettes?
No, 15. 15 cartons each we gave to the old man.
Oh, okay.
This old man used to walk by every day, and he was a string maker, mostly violins.
Bachschwaba?
Yeah,
Okay.
and mostly violins he made, but I guess he made others. And he'd walk by every day, and we talked to him. And so one day, Red asked him. He says, "Do you make basses?" And he says, "Yeah." She says, "I can make basses." And, you know, Red said, "Well, how much, you know?" And he says, "Well, cigarettes." So he says, "Okay." You know, I says, "We'll give you 15 cartons. I would like one too. We make 2 basses. You do that for 30 cartons of cigarettes."
Okay.
He says, "Sure, okay." So he did.
Yeah.
However, I didn't realize till I shipped it home, because I was still, that mine, when I got home, had a concert neck on it. You know, and it's thicker, it's bigger than a regular jazz bass. The fingerboard.
Right.
And boy, I had a hard time getting my chops around it, you know.
Right.
So finally I just donated to the high school. But you should have seen us packing these things with Red and I. We had, that same guy, we had him make this huge box, both of us. You know, and then all lined inside and padded inside. Oh man, I'm telling you, it cost us a fortune to ship those bases home.
Sure.
But they got there.
Right. And
Amazing.
then Red had asked him to build him another one, a second one, and he left the money.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
He either left money or
did he?
cigarettes with Doc Mansell, and he was to pay for it when it was done. But unfortunately, Doc drank up the money. So Red never got that second base.
That's good old Doc.
And they laughed about that, but
No,
it was a true story. When at the reunion, he hadn't seen him actually since 1946 when we
Did he
saw.
ask him?
Oh, of course.
And what-
Well, you know, I'm sure we were all in a good mood that night, so I don't, you know.
Yeah, we had, you know, we had our own schedule. We slept in the morning, and we never started rehearsing till the afternoon, and then we would rehearse into the nighttime, which was kind of better for us. We got that feeling, you know, nightclub feeling of being. So we did ours mostly late afternoon into the evening, all of our rehearsing. So we slept during, you know.
Sure, right. And I just want to point out that eventually Doc did sober up. He became a Mormon.
Yeah.
And didn't drink at all the rest of his life. And Red absolutely loved him.
Oh.
And he just raved about his playing.
Oh,
no
yeah.
question about that.
We had some great, you know, musicians. All
I think Red would have liked to have recorded with him.
Yeah.
But he passed away
He did.
before we had a chance to arrange
Yeah,
that.
all the best, like I say, came to us first, and
Right.
whatever he needed, they kept the cream of the crop. In fact, the Jack Elliott, well, this
Jack
kid's name
Elliott,
was,
yeah.
well, his real name was Irwin Zucker,
Right.
and he was before Springer or Jacobs.
Right.
And then he did all the music for the Los Angeles Olympics, when the Olympics.
Yes, right.
He directed the whole thing.
He had, I think, something called the New American Orchestra.
He had the New American Orchestra, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
All the greatest musicians in this thing.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah, in Los Angeles, yeah.
Mhm.
He was great. And then George Masso became big. You know, see, I got Doc Mansell. His name was Dale Mansell.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got all Clem Green was another great trombone player, and Baker. Oh, we had, I mean, great musicians, great band.
Was Red still with the band when you left, or did
Yeah, he was still there when I left in August of '47, and I don't know how soon after he went.
Oh, I have that at home
Do
somewhere
you?
in my
Yeah,
file.
I left in August of '47.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
And the next time you saw him?
Oh, all right. Then I was home. I went back to Northwestern University, and I got a call one night at home, because we had all exchanged I had that little book. We all exchanged telephone numbers.
Sure.
And I answered the phone, and he says, "Lou?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "This is Red." I said, "Red?" I says, "Wow." I says, "It's so good to hear from you." I says, "Where are you?" Because I knew he lived in New Jersey. I thought he was
Right.
home.
Right.
He says, "I'm in Chicago," because I lived north of Chicago.
Uh-huh.
I said, "What are you doing?" He says, I'm playing with a band down here." I said, "Tell me where." Gave me the name of the club, and I went right down. Now, me thinking, not thinking about Red and the bass,
Mhm.
I'm thinking I'm going to hear him playing piano, right? So I walk
Right.
into the club,
Right.
and I walk up towards the bandstand. I look up, and here's this red carrot top up there playing this phenomenal bass, and guess the group? The Woody Herman Sextet.
Right. Right.
And of course, then after that, we came down, we were talking, and from then on, then we just started keeping in contact with each other to see if we could bump into each other. And I went on the road too.
Mhm. That would have been in
And,
1950.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
And then maybe they went up to Canada after that from Chicago.
With the Sextet.
When he got, I think that's when he thinks he contracted the tuberculosis.
Oh,
my
When he was on that tour for a year
yeah,
with Woody from 49 through 50 there,
yeah.
he could never sleep. Red didn't sleep well, and he was such a light sleeper. And somebody had to keep the bus driver awake.
So,
So
he
Red, he
do it.
loved to talk, so
Sure.
he would sit and talk to that bus driver all night.
That
So
was
his
good.
system was weak, and then he
Yeah.
probably met
Yeah,
some woman who was sick, and
Could be.
sure.
and so Woody was great. He actually paid for Red
Yeah,
to go home, and he was
He
in the
was-
hospital the whole year of 1951.
yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
that's terrible.
Mm.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
And 51 is when he was out in San Francisco. 51 or 52, maybe?
52, he went to Los Angeles then, and then he would have gone up.
Up, because that's when I met him,
Uh-huh.
in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
And good looking.
We also have Lou Calderelli's wonderful wife, Jerry, here, who knew Red.
Very
Uh,
briefly.
briefly.
Well, because he was traveling.
Sure.
Yeah. But he was very nice.
when,
very friendly, very warm, and
Already at that time.
when
he had that
you
kind-
guys came home to Salem, I thought, oh my, I've got my brother back again, and
Right,
unfortunately only had him for a year.
right.
And I thought, boy, this is going to be
We were only here
great.
10 months. Right.
Because we were having dinners together, and we were coming down there when you guys were putting on the shows down there. And I
Yeah.
says, oh, this is great. Now I got a brother back here. Well,
didn't work.
so it's an unfortunate thing that we lost him so quick.
No. Well, he sure enjoyed the reunion.
Oh.
And,
Oh, the reunion was great.
yeah.
Can you remember any of the pictures or anything behind the reunion that you recall?
Yeah, in 1986. Was it Lynn who was the driving force? No, or Dick Stott, who
Dick
organized.
Stott and Lynn Arison and Tony
Uh-huh.
were the three
Oh,
that
yeah.
that were the mainstays that wanted to do this
Reunion.
in '86,
Right.
40-year reunion.
Right, which was in Newport.
Yeah, in Newport Beach,
Mhm.
and they were the three
Right.
mainstays that started it. Yeah.
And you play, in fact, do you have that recording? You played with Red? You probably remember, they had a trio there?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, we it's
They kind of
it
jammed.
was at the
Mhm.
dinner
At
we
the
were
dinner,
playing,
right.
and then at the Stott's house we were all playing.
That's right.
And I was playing the bass, and Red was playing piano.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that on these videotapes that you just gave me? Some of
yes, I think
some
so,
of that
yeah.
could be there. Yeah.
Oh, that.
it is.
Oh, it was a lot of fun.
And
Yeah.
what medals
It's-
did they give you, Lou, at that reunion?
Well, that's the thing. I got the piece of paper up
Mm-hmm.
there that the I don't know what he was, a major, or yeah, this was a deal, but then I have the deal up there of what we were supposed to get as a 340.
Okay, let's... Okay.
Okay, in
We're
my
looking-
hand here is a declaration from J.D. Kendrick, who was a Colonel Adjutant General Corps Chief of the Army Bands. And this was given to us at our dinner reunion in Newport Beach. And it says 314th Army Band, constituted the 6th of December 1943 in the Army of the United States as the 314th Army Band, activated 16th of January 1944 in Italy, redesignated 15th of March 1944 as the 314th Army Service Forces Band, redesignated, did I say that? 11th June 1946 as the 314th Band, redesignated 1st of June 1947 as the 314th Army Band, allotted 7th of April 1952 to the regular Army, inactivated in 1963 in Germany. Campaign participation credit, World War II, Naples, Foggia, Rome, Arno, southern France, Rhineland, Ardennes, Alsace, and Central Europe. And this was the awards they gave all of us.
Right.
Didn't
That
they
was
give
nice.
you a medal that you hadn't gotten?
No, a ribbon, the little ribbon you wear. No, these are the medals we're supposed to get.
Ah.
But try and get medals from
Right. Right.
It's like pulling teeth. Yeah, it's very interesting that he came there. Well, you were there. You saw that.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
But that was a wonderful reunion. I enjoyed that. Here's just one of the, that was on a table in
Heidelberg.
where? Heidelberg. Yeah.
Heidelberg, yeah.
Heidelberg, Germany. We went to almost all the bases in Germany to put on this show.
35.
Always a 3-hour show.
Yeah. 3 hours show?
3-hour show. And a half hour of that was broadcast on the AFN.
And it was more jazz oriented?
Oh, big band, sure, all the great standards. And
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
At that time,
Oh,
yeah, of course.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't think of the Glenn Miller Band as, it's jazz, but it's more popular.
More pop, yeah.
More pop. Were you allowed to play more jazz oriented sort
Yeah,
of?
we
I mean, I
did,
remember
because
Red talking about when he first joined the Army, he was in Arkansas, boot camp or whatever, you know, and he had to do cleanup, and he went in to the officers club. He was in the kitchen, but he heard somebody playing bebop on the piano in the officers club, and he went in there and sat down. Turned out to be Randy Weston.
Oh, my goodness.
Randy Weston, who's still alive today. He's 85, I think, and he was just getting out as Red had come in. So, you know, it's amazing how many famous musicians did go through these bands.
Oh, sure. Now, he was fortunate. I took my basic training in Fort McClellan, Alabama.
Oh.
It's the hellhole of creation. All I heard was twang music 24 hours a day. I went berserk.
Right.
Berserk. Oh, it was
How
horrible.
long was that? 6 weeks, or was it?
No, I was down there 15 weeks.
Oh.
When did Red start composing? Pardon me.
Oh, I think he started early
Early
on.
on?
Do you think he
Sure,
did
I
already
think so.
then?
Well,
Was
he
he
was playing
arranging
piano.
for the band? Did he?
No, he
did
didn't do
arrangements?
anything with
He-
that band. Not with the 314.
But he
no.
had to write out parts, or wasn't he? What do you call that person?
You mean transcribe?
Yeah. Or,
I don't know, because we had
About that.
arrangers,
yeah.
you know,
Oh, that's true.
that were with us,
Yeah.
that arranged for the
Right.
band.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it was an experience, I'll tell you. It's unbelievable.
Well, it was great exposure.
Oh.
For sure.
Yeah, it was. And good experience.
Mm-hmm.
Good experience. And, you know, we saw a lot, and we were treated very well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, too bad my brother isn't here.
Yeah.
We did, you know what we used to do on the train? We started a quintet singing
Uh-huh.
with Janie Thompson and me and Red and who else?
I
Just
never-
fooling around, you know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how it came about because at the time the Pied Pipers were big, you know, with Tommy Dorsey's band.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, something to do on the train, and we started
Sure.
singing, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, and Red made up some little, you know, things for us to sing. It was cool.
Uh-huh.
We
Did you
never did
scat?
perform.
Did you scat? Or
No, just, you know, just harmony. It was
Harmony.
nice harmony, just
Right.
singing, you know,
Mhm.
see if we could do it.
Sure, sure.
Because you got to listen, you know. You're
Right,
singing
right.
one part, and
Mhm.
guy next to you singing a different part, you know, a
Right.
different note, and you
Right.
got to be right on.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, his dad was the choir leader
Yeah.
too, so he had a lot
His
of
dad was
experience
very
from that.
talented man.
Yeah. Well, his dream was to be an opera singer.
Red?
Red's father wanted to be an opera singer. He went to he had a seat at the Metropolitan Opera from,
Mm.
I think it was 1923, every Wednesday night until 1965,
But then he
when
must
they
have
left New Jersey.
He
And
must have seen
moved out.
Marjorie Lawrence there.
Oh,
She
I'm sure
was-
he saw everybody.
Yeah, she was.
He loved it.
I was
And
just gonna say,
she was
he
a
saw
biggie
it.
with
Yeah.
the Metropolitan.
when we would travel around Europe, I would buy postcards from all the opera houses and
Oh,
and
send it to him.
got him a book, of course, when we went to La Scala, and
Oh.
you know, we had some fun times. So that was a nice special thing for he and I to converse about, because Red was not an opera fan.
No?
No, he would
I'm
hear
not.
everything wrong. I took Red and Roger Kellaway to the opera in Stockholm one time, and I
They
was
just
so
went
mad I
crazy.
wanted to just throw them out. You know, they
They
were
were
just perfectionists that had
They're
to.
commenting about everything. She doesn't like it when I do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
You know,
yeah.
she says, why don't you shut up and just listen or get out?
Just enjoy it,
Yeah,
you
just,
know?
just enjoy it or get out.
Right.
Oh, what are you going to do? No, I'm not an opera fan either.
Well, I love the
am.
opera. I'd love to
I-
go tonight.
What's
Is
on
it
tonight?
Carmina Burana and
Oh,
Pagliacci
two
at
of
the
them, I know.
Keller Auditorium?
Oh.
Oh.
Can't go for what reason?